All right, so I've been talking a lot. Let's get into actually showing you how to achieve greatness. And the example I'll be using for this is basketball, right? So imagine there was a kid, a boy, girl, in this case, I just say it was a boy, right? A high school boy in ninth grade, and he had a dream of playing in the NBA. Not just playing in the NBA, but being the best basketball player in the world, being Michael Jordan, all right? So for example, in earlier videos, I mentioned LeBron James, right? And I talked about how greatness, you have to compare yourself to other people. That's by definition, you have to do that, right? LeBron James, for example, says that he's not just trying to be the best NBA player. He's chasing that ghost called Michael Jordan. So he's comparing himself to Michael Jordan. He's doing what I call greatness matching. Michael Jordan is here. The rest of the league is here. LeBron James is somewhere here. He's not comparing himself to the league. He's comparing himself to Michael Jordan. So he's rising to the level of Michael Jordan and trying to ascend above that, right? So in this story, we'll start out in ninth grade as a kid. He wants to make the basketball team. He wants to be the best basketball player in the world. How does he achieve it? So he sits down, he watched my video, and he's like, you know what? I saw Ian talk about how to hustle to greatness. Let me put together this blueprint on how to hustle to greatness and become Michael Jordan and become the best basketball player in the world. It starts something like this. So we start off in ninth grade. This kid goes out, tries out for the high school basketball team. He makes junior varsity, doesn't make varsity. But he notices that out of all the ninth graders, there are 15 that tried out for junior varsity, and 15 on the team, right? And he noticed that one ninth grader made varsity basketball. For those who don't know, right? Varsity basketball, or varsity in general in America is basically when you're playing with the senior team, right? So this ninth grader is playing with the juniors and seniors, right? So imagine there's a basketball team, right? Hypothetical, right? Basketball team this kid is tried out for. He makes the team, so he's pretty decent. He's pretty good. But he's comparing himself to others around him, which you have to do to be great. I'm not here to BS you guys. You have to compare yourself to other people around you, right? So he compares himself and sees, hey, that ninth grader made varsity. So out of the 15 people on JV, out of the 15 ninth and 10th graders, by definition, I'm not in the top 5%. So by definition, I am not great. And I'm trying to be great, right? This kid is trying to be great, right? So imagine, let's say I'm that kid, right? If I'm trying to be great, I have to find the level of greatness, in this case, that ninth grader playing on varsity, and rise to the level of greatness. I have to find out what actions is he doing, right? So for example, let's say during the course of ninth grade, I study that guy, right? And I find out what he's doing. And I find out that out of the people on the basketball team, on JV, that ninth grader is the only one that we'll call that ninth grader who, on varsity, we'll call him greatness, right? Let's say that great ninth grader, greatness, is the only ninth grader playing organized basketball the entire year, right? From January to December, he plays AAU basketball, like clockwork, right? No days off. He's like, interesting, okay? So he takes note, right? Greatness matching. That's one thing I'm not doing. That's one thing nobody else on the team is doing. Then you also notice there's one other thing. Out of the people on the basketball team, only 5 out of the 15 take basketball camps, right? Outside of school, right? So a basketball camp is basically when you go and get training during the summertime, for example. But he also notices that kid on varsity, that freshman on varsity, takes 2 basketball camps during the year. Not 1, but 2. So he writes that down. Then he also notices that out of the 15 people on JV, only 3 of them have a basketball hoop at home and practice every single day. So he takes note of that as well. So he has these actionable steps of what people around him are doing that he himself is not doing. So he's trying to rise up to the level of greatness. So you know what he does? He now does those same action steps. All right, so by analyzing and comparing himself to people around him and having that definition of greatness, the top 5%, He now knows where to aim for. And he has his action steps of what the top 5% are doing. Right? So we mentioned the basketball camps, AAU basketball, right? And basketball hoop at home. So now his greatness matching homework or tasks to do to become great are to do the same things that great people are doing. So he goes out there and he joins an AAU basketball team. He starts playing basketball the entire year, January till December. Right? He finds a local team, tries out, makes it, and now he's playing basketball every single time. He's balling every single time. Then he signs up for 2 basketball camps. He has no money for the camps, so he starts working part-time on the side on the weekends, mowing grass or whatever, right? Gets the funds to now take 2 basketball camps each year. So check. He has the AAU, he has the basketball camp, and from the money he's been able to raise or whatever, or maybe asking his parents or uncle or Christmas money or whatever, right? He also gets a basketball hoop at home and practices taking jump shots, layups, all these different basketball drills every single day. Right? So he's risen to the level of greatness. And he does that the entire year. Right? After freshman basketball is over, after the entire season is over, he's still putting in that work. So now fast forward to 10th grade, when 10th grade comes around. So 10th grade comes around, and guess what? Our boy is balling out of control, man. Like, he tries out for the varsity team and he makes it. He makes the basketball team. Not just the basketball team, but varsity. Right? So he makes varsity in 10th grade. But guess what? Once he makes varsity in 10th grade, he's like, you know what? I'm good now, right? I'm better than all the other 10th graders who's still playing on JV, on junior varsity, right? I'm playing with seniors and juniors. So I'm balling right now. But going back to becoming great, what do? You compare yourself around everybody around you, and you rise to the level of greatness. Greatness being the top 5% of those around you. So now that he's in 10th grade and he's playing on varsity, although he's great for the 10th graders and 9th graders, he's not comparing himself to that now, right? Because he's past that level now. So he's comparing himself to the level of varsity. So although he's playing varsity basketball, he's riding the bench, man. Right? He's barely getting any playing time. Right? So he looks around and says, hey, you know what? Out of the 15 people on this team, who are the top 5%? Right? Who's the best player on the team? And he studies that player the entire season and he says, you know what? This is what this guy is doing. The best player on the team has Division I basketball offers. Why is that? He notices a few things. Those few things being that the best basketball player on the team has a personal coach. He sees that this guy has this great 12th grader, we'll call him, right? This greatness for varsity basketball, this 12th grader that is great at basketball on the team. He has D1 offers for college basketball, and he has a personal basketball coach he practices with once a week. He pays this coach once a week to coach him on basketball. This is outside of the school basketball team, the school coach, and outside of the AAU basketball team. Right? So he has a personal coach he works with once a week. Right? He's like, okay, interesting. So he writes that down. He also takes note that the best person on their team, that top 5%, that one player, also doesn't just play on any AAU basketball team. Right? He's not just playing on any organized basketball team. He's playing with the best basketball team in the state. He's like, interesting. That's crazy, right? So he writes that down. Then he also notices one thing that's pretty big. The best basketball player on the team films every single basketball game and studies it. He has his parents there, his dad is there with a camera filming every single game. And he goes back and sees the things he was doing well and things he was doing bad and tries to improve upon them every single game. So he takes note of that. He has 3 actionable items that the top 5% are doing, and now his goal is to match that level of greatness, to rise up to that level of greatness. So during 10th grade, after basketball season is over, guess what he does? He does just that. So a kid who's trying to become the Michael Jordan, LeBron James, is trying to be in the NBA, right? We're going through the small, actionable baby steps, right? But right now he's in 10th grade, and he knows the best player on varsity. He knows the action items he's doing, the action steps he's doing, and now he has to rise up to that. So to hustle to greatness, this is what he does. He goes out there and starts filming every single basketball game he plays, right? He films it, he comes back home, studies it, watches the tape, takes notes, sees the good things he's doing, the bad things he's doing, and proves and works on them every single game, right? So he'll do something wrong in one game, and by the next game he's already making the adjustment. So he's watching his own game film, like the other top 5% are doing, right? Then the next thing is, he goes out there and tries for the best AAU basketball team in the state, because he's trying to match the level of greatness that kid on 12th grade who has scholarship offers is doing. But guess what? Unfortunately, our friend doesn't make the best basketball team in the state. But as a way to compensate for that, he tries out for a local team nearby that's one grade above his, right? So let's say he's in 10th grade and his 15, 16, right? So let's say he's under 16. He tries out for the under 17 team, and he makes it. It's not the best team in the state at all. I mean, that team is pretty bad. But guess what? Every single day, every single week, every single month, the games he's playing, the practices, he's playing with people older than him, 1 year older than him. So when he plays games, he still gets to play against good competition, right? So although he's a 10th grader, he's playing against 11th graders during the off season. So he's putting in work, getting better, watching film, watching game film. And he also has that last action item, right? That person who was great had a personal coach. But our friend of ours, he's not that rich, right? Let's say he has no finances to pay for a coach, to coach him once a week. But guess what though? He's able to find other ways to compensate for that. So he finds out that, hey, you know what? I can't afford a coach right now, but there's somebody else on the local AAU team I play with who's also pretty good. Why don't we meet once a week outside of practice, outside of school, and practice and by playing against each other? So once a week for about 2 or 3 hours, they play against each other one-on-one, right? Against the best people on their team, right? One-on-one. Outside of practice, they help each other out, they coach each other, they challenge each other, they push each other. Right? This is basically his sparring partner, his practice partner, his wingman, right? They coach each other, give each other tips, ways on how they can improve upon. And they do this once a week the entire season, right? So he's filming his games, right? He's playing with 1 year ahead, and he has somebody to practice with once a week. So he keeps doing this the entire year. So fast forward now, we're in 11th grade. Guess what happens? All right, so now we're in 11th grade. Our boy comes out and he's balling again, just like in 10th grade, right? His game improves tenfold, right? From having that friend of his on his AAU team to practice with once a week and get better, filming his games every single game and watching it and studying it and getting better, and playing 1 year ahead of him, 1 year ahead of his class, helped him take his game to the next level, right? So in 11th grade, not only is our boy starting, he makes the all-county team. He's one of the best players in his county, in his district, right? But guess what? Now that he's the best player in his district, he made the all-county team, all-district team, he changes his level to the next level of greatness, right? So he says, I'm one of the best players in my county, but what are the top 5% doing? The top 5% made the all-state team. They were one of the best players in the state. So, next goal is to rise up to that level of greatness, the top 5%. So he studies those top 5% that are the best players in the state. And he says, okay, this is what they're doing that I'm not doing right now. He notices that the best players in the state, they won, play for the best AAU teams in the state, right? The best AAU means, for those who don't know, it's a organized basketball, right? So they play for the best organized club basketball outside of school, right? And it's the best in the state. Then he also takes note of some other things. Two is that they play for private schools, They don't play for public schools. They play for private schools. He's like, why is that? So he finds out. He goes out there and does his research and finds out that private schools aren't really tied down or have any restrictions like public schools. Because of that, private schools can play just about anybody. Then they can travel the entire region, country, and right, go across the country, go on different tournaments where there's scouts, so they get more exposure. They have better competition they play against, right? They aren't tied down by a region or their district. So he says, okay, interesting. Then he also notices that the best players in the state attend the All-American camps. The Nike camps, the Adidas ABCD camp, right? The Under Armour basketball camp, where they have all these different college scouts there, scouting them. Sometimes even professional NBA scouts are there. So he sees all these different things that they're doing, and he makes that his action step, his action item and goal to achieve. So he sets out there, these are different, that's basically his homework for that year to achieve, to rise up to that level of greatness. So he goes out there and he does exactly just that. Alright, so for 11th grade greatness matching action items, our boy basically goes out there and does everything on the list. Because he's trying to be Michael Jordan, he's trying to be great, Hall of Fame worthy. Right? So the first thing is, he goes out and tries for the best AAU team in the state. And he puts in the work. Right? He preps for it for months in advance. He goes out there and he achieves it. Right? He makes the team. He's now on the best AAU basketball team in the state and plays with them the entire year. Right? That's the first item. So he checks that off. The next item is playing in All-American camps. So any basketball camp that would invite him, he goes out there and plays for that, right? So so from making the All-County team, he goes and makes the All-State Adidas camp, the Nike All-State camp, all these different camps, and he's getting exposure. He's getting exposed to the best competition. He's getting exposed to other college scouts, right? So he's keeps on raising his level of greatness and competition, and he's thirsty and hungry for greatness. He's hustling to greatness, right? That's where the term comes from. Then the last item is, as a result of making all-county team, he got invited to some private schools. So you know what he does? He says, you know what? I have to go to where the competition is. So he leaves public school and goes out and starts attending private school and playing for a private basketball team. As a result of that, he's able to travel and play much more tougher competition, right? So there are levels to this. And he does that for the entire year, right? So fast forward, and now we're in 12th grade. Guess what happens? So in 12th grade, playing on a private basketball team, this guy, this kid is no longer a kid. He's now a man amongst boys. He's straight LeBron James on everybody in high school, right? Because he's been rising up consistently to the level of greatness. Playing with a private basketball team allows him to travel to different states, participate on televised basketball games for high school tournaments. Every single game he was playing that year, there was a college scout in attendance. So he goes from being recruited by mid-major colleges and getting scholarship offers to now getting recruited by top 25 basketball programs in the country. He has John Calipari attending some of his games. He has Mike Krzyzewski attending his high school games, right? But although now he's good, right? Because now he goes from making the all-county team to making the all-state basketball team. So he's now one of the best basketball players in the state, right? And he played on a good team to a point he made some all-American teams here and there, right? But he notices one thing. He was only a 4-star recruit, 4 out of 5 stars. So he wasn't the best. He wasn't the top 5%. There were people that were better than him. So he says, okay, you know what? What are the top 5% doing? What are those 5-star recruits doing? So he studies them again. He compares himself to them. Takes note of the action steps they're doing that he himself is not doing. So he writes them down. So after the end of his senior year of basketball, right, basically in the fall, spring, whatever, right? So he's been practicing and studying and seeing what the top 5% are doing the entire time. And he notices there's really one differentiating factor There's one difference that they're doing that he's not doing. They're on the national team, right? They're playing for USA basketball under 18 basketball team. It's like, wow, they're getting coached by college coaches, getting that exposure, getting that level of competition. That's what I need to rise up to. So he rises up to that. He finds out what they're doing, right? He goes out there, finds out what those coaches like, what their practice routines are, and the entire year he's practicing, prepping to try out for that national team. Right? He finds out their drills. He's practicing in the driveway, those drills that they do. He finds out what kind of stuff they like to do, what kind of plays the coach likes to run, and he's going out there putting in that work. He's still doing everything else he's doing, right? He's still playing with the best AAU teams, but he keeps on stepping his game up to the next level of greatness. So he achieves that level of greatness. He gets smart, right? Because he's hustling to greatness. He's trying to be a Michael Jordan. So he finds kids that made the national team a year later, 1 year earlier, and are now in college, and he calls them up, meets them in person, asks them questions about, hey, what did you have to do to make the basketball team, right? What did you have to do to play for America in the under 18 Olympics, right? And for FIBA or whatever, right? What did you have to do? He's finding out what the successful great people did. He's taking notes, and he's going out there to achieve them, right? So after all this work, he tries out for the national basketball team, and guess what? He makes it. And although he's not the best player on the team, he now has that exposure, right? Every single time he has even more attention on him, because now he's one of the best players in the country by making the national team. Not only that, though, he's playing against the best players in the country as well. So he's constantly matching his level of greatness, rising above and beyond. So fast forward now, our boy now becomes a 5-star recruit. He went from being a 4-star recruit to a 5-star recruit, and he got recruited by almost every big name college out there. So you know what he does for college? He's following the steps of greatness. All right, so college, right? So he goes to a basketball program at college that has won championships. Not only that, though, that has actually taken people to the NBA, because he's trying to play in the NBA and he's trying to be great, right? So he goes to the top basketball programs that are known for just minting NBA stars all the time, right? They're basically NBA factories, right? So he goes to Hall of Fame coaches like Mike Krzyzewski, John Calipari, Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina, right? He goes to those blue chip programs, and he does the same thing that took him there, right? He compares himself to what the great people are doing around him, what the top 5%, right? That level of greatness. He finds that baseline level for greatness, finds out the actionable steps they're doing that he himself is not doing, and he rises up to that by doing the same baseline level greatness steps, right? So he keeps on doing that, right? And he knows that to be great, he has to be one and done, right? So he has to be putting in work all the time. So he's not really taking academics seriously because he's trying to be one and done, right? So he's practicing in the gym all the time, and eventually he ends up being a lottery pick, top 5 pick, level of greatness, and he keeps on doing the same exact steps. Once he goes to the NBA, guess what? He tries to become the best player on his basketball team, right? He's not going straight to being the best player in the NBA, right? Once again, action steps, right? You start small. You break down into small goals, right? The first goal, once in the NBA, become the best player on your NBA team, right? So he finds what that top 5%, that one player out of the 15 players on the basketball team in the NBA are doing, right? So let's say he ends up making a bad team like the Timberwolves, for example, right? Or actually, let's say he ends up making the Brooklyn Nets, right? Because they're a pretty bad team, right? In a hypothetical world, let's say he makes the Brooklyn Nets, they draft him, right? His goal is to become the best player on the Brooklyn Nets. Once he achieves that, he then has to become the best player, and let's say he has to become the top 5% in his position. Let's say he's a point guard. Okay, what are the top 5% point guards in the NBA doing that I'm not doing right now? Then he finds out what they're doing, right? Then he does that. So he keeps on doing that until eventually he's an all-star, until eventually he's a Hall of Famer, until eventually his greatness, right? He reaches Michael Jordan level, maybe even surpasses Michael Jordan. Right? So that was a pretty long story, but to kind of sum everything up, right?